Welcome back to No Rhyme, No Reason. I'm your host, Aaron Bergeron, and unlike always, I am only joined this week by Ernesto.
Yeah, we don't need anyone else. Listen, there's enough talent over here for the entire podcast. So we're good. We're ready to roll today.
That's very nice of you to say about me, Ernesto. I appreciate it. All right, so just to fill in the listener, Popeye is currently vacationing. He is in Ohio, and I believe he's going to North Carolina after that. So he will not be with us this week, and he will not be with us next week. So hopefully we will bring in someone.
Fortunately so.
Someone to fill his place next week. Hopefully. No promises, though.
I've got a couple ideas.
So hopefully we will bring back a third person for that week. And then the week before Christmas, or the week after Christmas, I guess, hopefully we get Popeye back. We'll see what the schedule presents. But for now, me and Ernesto are going to keep to our promise. And we are going to discuss the movie Ex Machina, which we both watched. I know that Popeye's input would have been very valuable since he was the one who had not seen it. But I think we will push ahead and just still discuss this movie. So Ernesto, tell me what you thought.
Yes, Wayne.
On a second watch.
On a second watch, so I actually thought it was less weird on a second watch. It's not
Sure.
it's not super weird. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's not, I mean, you could probably, there's certain, like you said, like don't watch it with your kids. I mean, there are certain parts that, yes, you just, it's mature content. But for the most part, it's really not too bad. But it's definitely, it's interesting. And, did you want to give like any insight to like the main premise of the thing? All
right. So if you haven't seen the movie and you actually do want to hear our thoughts and opinions about it, this would be the point where you would stop and play it later because, I think we're going to discuss serious spoilers here. I think we can't really discuss this movie in detail without explaining the plot and most likely the ending. Let's just break that seal. Stop here. Don't go further. All right, spoilers. Go ahead.
So I mean, basically, it'd be like if Google, if the owner of Google had, was this big recluse and they were developing this AI in secret, and they held this big competition to see which one of their employees would come and test out the AI. And so basically, it's about a guy who's a coder for like this movie version of Google. Big search engine company, and
Blue Book, I believe is what it's called.
Blue Book is what it's called. And so they basically invite him up to the owner's house, which is like in the middle of this desolate place. He lives in complete isolation, and it's this big research facility, and he develops this like a cyborg, basically a cyborg with, artificial intelligence. And they run a test, which is called the Turing test. I don't know if I'm
Turing test.
That.
Yes.
Turing test, which is basically to, see what quality the AI is and how sophisticated it thinks. And so he ends up falling in love with his AI, and the AI manipulates him into helping her break out, and she does so. And then, I mean, I can just cut it off there, and then a bunch of things happen at the end. So basically, he breaks her out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like So Ernesto did a pretty good job explaining the movie. Obviously, it's a bit more complex than that, but it is artificial intelligence. I think the themes of the movie are like basically what makes us human, and I guess a little bit of feminism maybe. And it was very interesting watching it a second time through, because I think the first time I was just so stunned by the ending and like the premise of the movie. And the second time through, I really was able to like, I know what's going to happen here, and just like picking up on all the lies and the deceit and like the trickery that all three of the characters are playing on each other.
Yeah,
because there's really only three characters. I mean, there's a fourth.
Yeah,
there's a fourth, but
she's
it's
Asian. She doesn't talk.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a very like, it's weird because I almost feel like claustrophobic, if you will. Like, he's locked in this tiny room. He's got key cards. Like, the character seems very scared for himself because, and I didn't realize this, like on the second go through, the Google guy who invites him over, his last name is Bateman, like from American Psycho, which I thought was, which was really clever because he's basically a psychopath. I mean, going back to the themes of like what makes you human, he suffers from a big ego, which I'm sure Ernesto can relate to, and he suffers from like drinking a lot.
Not at all.
And the other character, it's what are their names? It's Nathan. Nathan. Ava is the AI,
and
it's gonna come to me.
It will. Is it? It's not Eric, is it?
Caleb.
It's Caleb.
Caleb and Nathan.
It's Caleb.
So Nathan is the Google guy. I got that wrong. Nathan is the Google guy, and he basically invites the guy over, and he suffers from this giant ego who thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and he also has a drinking problem. And then Caleb comes in, and Caleb is the guy who won the contest, and basically Google picked him because I don't want to say he was weak-willed, but basically he was easy to manipulate and smart at the same time. But like, basically his family died in a car accident, and he doesn't have a girlfriend, so he's like desperate for like human interaction. So he fits perfectly for this like fall in love with my robot test that he's set up. And so like, Caleb's like character flaws are that he just too trusting and like, I almost want to say gullible. And then the girl robot, she's just like a robot, and she's slowly learning how to be human, and she uses the fact that she's a woman to successfully do what she wants to do. She makes him fall in love with her. She uses her sexuality, her knowing that he has desires to want to be loved, and I'm just going to spoil it. She escapes, and she also defeats Nathan, who's the AI guy who created her.
And she leaves Caleb.
Yes. Well, and I think that's I when I first watched it, I was like, how could she like leave this guy behind? Like, he helps her escape. Like, he programs the security so that it'll allow the doors to unlock. Because when the power goes out, that's part of a big key of the story. Is when the power goes out, the doors lock, so that it's like a don't let my AI escape. That's like this huge investment and could easily kill somebody. And like, he helps her program it so that the doors unlock when the power goes out, and she has the ability to override the power. So like, she basically is helped to escape, but basically you find out she manipulated him the whole time to do all of that, and then she leaves him behind, just locked in this like basement essentially. And when I first watched it, I was like, damn, that's cold. But I feel like the second time through, I don't know, they both had it coming to them, sort of like, I don't know, knowing what was going to happen. Like, Nathan definitely, and Caleb I wasn't so sure about, but I feel like Caleb sort of got it coming to him too. Like,
have it coming to him? He was just developing an AI.
He was abusing them though. Like, I mean, you saw all the robots, and like, he remember he like went through the videos, and like, he caught him like basically. Yeah. I mean, they're robots, but like, he was not treating them as good robots, I guess. He was sexually abusing them and just being drunk with them. I don't know. It's like, okay, well, then you have to ask yourself, are the robots sentient? Does that matter? But I mean, sure. Ultimately, I feel like they both got what was coming to them, and her locking him in there for me is like, she played the damsel in distress role the entire time, and then she reversed it at the end, where I don't need no man. I don't live in their shadow.
It was very
like, I feel like that was like, what? Okay. I'm just saying, like, I feel like that was the theme of the movie, other than like AI. Like, I feel like, yeah, what makes us human? Because we're trying to test, is this robot human? And like, there's all these character flaws that allow her to escape, and then some sort of girl power
Yeah.
theme of some sort.
No, I mean, and so, so the second, so what I was gonna say earlier, so two things. So this movie, it literally like encapsulates one of like the most frustrating things that can happen in a movie for me to watch, and it's when people just do stupid things, like just what him like trusting her, letting her out, like she's a robot, like it's in my opinion bad play there. And it was like, it's the same as in Infinity War when Star Lord punched Thanos in the face when they're about to win the whole struggle and this and that. Same premise. So there's that. Like it was just dumb. Like he came here to test it out. He knew exactly what and he codes is a thing too. Like he understands, if he was just a random guy who didn't like speak the language and understand, what goes into like, and into artificial intelligence, then that's one thing. Because I mean, he could easily get misguided that way. But it's like he speaks the language. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like it happened. And then
Yeah.
the other thing, like all I, all I could think of was when we went to Atlanta that one time, and you and I had gone every year, and we go, and there's always homeless people there that ask you for money and whatnot, and just either give them bucks or you just no. But I mean, like 40 of them ask you, so you just kind of pass along at a certain point. And so it was the one time that we invited Popeye with us. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "Yeah, I gave some homeless guy like $40 so he could tell me where to park." And this is the most gullible person I know, showing his colors. So that
so,
was it.
so you're saying he would fit into the Caleb role
Oh,
quite
he would
well.
100% be Caleb. He would 100% be
Mm-hmm.
Caleb. I would 100% be Nathan.
Ooh, I don't like where that leaves me. Although I do escape and leave both of you for dead, so that's cool.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I think I'm sure if anyone has seen it, they can understand what we're putting down here. I think there's for it's a very good movie. It's very captivating for a movie that has basically four characters, three really, and the director's really good. The cast is amazing. There's not a lot of bad I can say about it. I guess if you like movies with happy endings, depending on who you're rooting for, I guess. I feel like when I first watched it, I thought I was rooting for Caleb, but I think when I rewatched it, knowing who I was supposed to be rooting for, I think it was a bit more satisfying, I guess. But I guess you're supposed to be rooting for Ava, like for the girl to escape and not be held captive by this guy anymore, which sounds like so obvious. If you've never seen the movie, you're like, well, how could you not have seen that? But Caleb just seemed like so innocent, and it's like he didn't do anything wrong. He just won the contest, and I don't know. I guess I was just watching it incorrectly the first time, but
Innocent
I
bystander.
don't know.
I think Caleb gets
Innocent.
off scot free in my mind. Except, I mean, if Caleb wronged anyone, it was Nathan.
Yes. Which is why I feel like he got what is coming to him, because Nathan warned him, basically saying like, "Hey, she's trying to play you,"
He was so
and
smart about it too. Like when he was
yeah,
like, I basically did all that last night. And he was like, I outsmarted you. And then he gets He gets trapped in a room. He gets trapped in a room like a little mouse.
yeah. That I think they both played each other, and they both pay for it. It makes sense. It's a good movie. I still, after a second watch, still think it's a great movie and would definitely recommend it. If you heard all this and you're like, I wonder if I should even still watch it, I still would, because it's really hard to explain all the like intricacies of the movie, and like there's a lot of like scenes where it like shows you something and it doesn't really explain it, so you have to interpret what you will about it, like because there's no like narrator and there's not a ton of characters, so they'll just like show something happening and it's like, oh, like what does this mean? Like, because the whole place is rigged with security cameras and a lot of scenes are just like showing you like what's being seen by those security cameras. So definitely a little creepy, definitely very mature, uh interesting themes. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that's a good film.
Yeah, you cut out there a little bit. I did not hear that. I'll have to edit it out and then you say it again.
It's good. It's a good film.
All right. Yep. So, yeah. So no Popeye this week. I don't know, Ernesto, if you've got a movie right off the cusp that you want to throw out there that we could talk about next week, or I think we could just cut it short unless there's something else cool that you want to talk about. Anything fun going on?
No, not really.
Uh,
Nowadays, fantasy football is an absolute nightmare this week because so many people are injured, and I have like all of them on my team, so that's awesome. And yeah, but I mean, championship time, playoff time. The No Rhyme No Reason podcast is representing in full force in many, many leagues, all aside from Popeye. So that's about it. Like, that's
all right.
fun.
Without Popeye, there's nothing that we can disagree on. There's nothing. There's nothing.
That's the worst part. Is he fuels the disagreement.
He does. He also has a really good habit of bringing back conversation that we've already had. It's like he reacts to it late and then he brings it back up to the forefront, which I find very interesting. It helps. It helps drag the conversation on. Next week, no movie club. We'll take a week off, and we will hopefully have a guest, and we will introduce the guest and chat him up for a little bit, and I'm sure we'll find some great conversation to be had. But I think that's it. I will wrap this one up nice and short, and I will catch you guys next week with hopefully somebody filling in for Popeye.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
I can't wait.
Are you ready? Oh yeah, I've already got someone in mind.
Oh, perfect. I cannot wait for next week. It should be very interesting. First guest. We will see how this goes. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
For now, I will call it an episode. Later, guys.
Andy Rouse.